Have you gone through a difficult situation in life that you're just finding really hard to accept? I want you to watch this video to learn how to go from resisting reality to peaceful acceptance. I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton. I'm the manifesting psychologist, a mompreneur, and I'm the founder of modAmbition. Please subscribe to this channel so you don't miss when I post manifesting videos every week. So by the end of this video, you're going to know how to accept those difficult situations without being complacent so that you can flow through life with more joy and peace. Abraham Hicks said, accomplishing an end result is manifestation. Consciously managing and maintaining your vibrational balance is deliberate living. And it is really what we call living the art of allowing. So in my program, Dream Life Academy, I have a module called Faithful Mind dedicated to developing an abundance mindset and really fully believing in your dreams. And part of that module, I teach the art of allowance, which is a law of attraction principle all about letting go of the oars and going downstream with the flow of your abundance. The problem is that sometimes as we're flowing through life hands us challenging situations that are usually difficult to accept, which you probably know. While we consciously know that life challenges are sent here to help us become who we need to be to manifest what we want, it can be hard to accept those situations. So while I can't teach that entire module in this YouTube video, I do want to share a technique that I teach my clients to help them accept difficult situations called radical acceptance. So Michael J. Fox said, acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding that something is what it is and that there's got to be a way through it. So here's what I'm going to cover in this video. What is acceptance and 10 steps to using radical acceptance for difficult life situations. And be sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to give you a free resource that is going to help you put all these steps into action. And if you want daily tips on manifestation or motivation, be sure to follow me on Instagram. I am _Tiffany Shelton. So learning to accept your reality without complacency can set you free from suffering. There's a Buddhist principle that says pain plus acceptance equals pain, but pain plus non-acceptance equals suffering. And acceptance is mindfulness and self-compassion and patience, really those three things. And I love the radical acceptance principles from Dr. Marsha Linehan, which she's the creator of dialectical behavioral therapy, because they incorporate all these aspects of acceptance in an evidence-based way of practicing them. So I'm going to walk you through practical radical acceptance, and I also have a free guide that's linked below with all these steps in case you don't want to take notes. And to make things easier to understand, I'm going to be using an example of hating your job with a desire to manifest working for yourself so we can make all this stuff practical. Okay, so step one is to observe that you're questioning or fighting reality or saying things like, it shouldn't be this way. For the hate my job situation, you might note that you frequently think it isn't fair that I have to work a job that I hate, or any other thoughts that fight with reality. A helpful thing to do is to try to tune into not all monitoring all your thoughts, right? Because it's really hard. We have a lot of thoughts, but instead taking a moment when you notice negative emotions like hopelessness or sadness. And when you feel these emotions, take a moment to tune into what thoughts are going through your head and notice any ones that are fighting with reality. Then you want to remind yourself that the unpleasant reality is just as it is and it can't be changed. Saying things like, this is what happened. This is a moment to remind yourself that things are as they are versus trying to fight with reality. In the I hate my job situation, once you notice you're fighting with reality, saying things like it shouldn't be this way, then you can take a moment to remind yourself that this is my current reality. This is the truth of my situation. This is the job that I have right now. Then remind yourself that there are causes for reality, right? It just didn't happen out of nowhere. Acknowledge that some sort of history led up to this moment. Consider how your life has been shaped by a series of factors, and notice that these factors and history led up to this moment. So this is how things have happened. So remind yourself of the causes of the reality. That's going to help your brain wrap around the facts that this is reality and not something personal, and it's not a reflection of who you are as a person. So in the I hate my job example, this may look like this job is a stepping stone to where I want to get in my career, or I ended up at this job due to my current qualifications and network and the necessity to pay my bills. And then moving on, you're going to practice accepting with your whole self, mind, body, and spirit. You're going to be creative in finding ways to involve your whole self. So use accepting self-talk, but also consider relaxation. Use mindfulness of your breath. You can do things like half smiling or willing hands while thinking about what feels unacceptable. You can use prayer or going to a place that brings you acceptance, or using imagery. So this is where self-compassion and mindfulness come into play with acceptance. The goal is to actively find ways to lean into accepting your current reality with compassion for yourself and your desires. So in the job example, this might look like self-talk that reminds yourself that this won't last forever, or noticing in your body where you feel the hopelessness and sending healing, loving breath there. This might also include things like praying for patience and strength as you navigate finding a more ideal career situation. It could also look like going on a nature walk or imagining a peaceful scene that helps you lean into the higher order of the universe and realize that everything you're doing and everything you're going through is part of a divine plan, really. So the next thing is to practice opposite action. I want you to list all the behaviors you would do if you did accept the facts of your situation, and then act as if you've already accepted them. Engage in behaviors that you would do if you really had accepted your reality. So in our example, this might mean listing out behaviors like making plans to save enough money to work for yourself, being present and passionate when you're working in your job to align with your values, defining time outside of work to work on your side passions, things like that, things that you would do if you had accepted your situation. If you have any questions, be sure to write them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Next, you want to cope ahead with events that seem unacceptable. So imagine in your mind believing what you don't want to accept. Rehearse in your mind what you would do if you accepted things that were unacceptable. So let's make this practical. So coping ahead is a common DBT skill that can help you feel more equipped for triggering situations. In our job example, one of those triggering situations might be Monday mornings always make you feel frustrated or hopeless or unmotivated. And you can think about ahead of time about what you can do in those times that would help you lean into accepting your current situation and also helping you feel more empowered. So you may have a wind up Monday work routine that gets you motivated for the work you're about to do. That might be affirmations on your desk to feel empowered and keep you going. You may have a reminder note card by your computer that states, "This won't last forever. This is just a stepping stone to where I want to be." Next, I want you to attend to those body sensations as you think about what you need to accept. This is another aspect of mindfulness that will help you tune in to accepting your reality. So in our job situation, you might notice how you feel on those Monday mornings when you're struggling to accept this current reality of your situation, and notice where you do feel that in your body. This type of mindfulness in and of itself is something that will empower you to release that resistance just by noticing it and separating yourself from it. Then I want you to allow disappointment, sadness, and grief to arise in you. So it's really important to remember the goal isn't to get rid of any negative emotions. The goal is not to get rid of your pain. That pain has been sent here by your higher power, your inner spirit, to signal that something is not in alignment with what you want. The pain is there to help you transform into the person you want to become, to get back in alignment with what you want and to attract what you want. So there's no value in avoiding things like sadness or grief. Our power is in noticing and processing these emotions with kindness in a way that helps us heal and evolve. So in our job example, if you were to notice yourself feeling sad, or instead of trying to avoid it with toxic positivity or things like drinking or shopping, you want to notice that sadness, the thoughts that are going along with it, then offer yourself some compassion, some patience, while you also commit to actions that are going to help you get closer to what you want. And so even though the goal isn't to get rid of that sadness, by accepting your emotion, just doing that and still committing to what you want, over time they tend to lessen as well. Which leads to our next step, which is acknowledge that life can be worth living even when there is pain. So again, the idea behind this step is to remind yourself that even though life includes pain, that's not the only emotion that's part of your emotional experience, and it doesn't define your life. It also brings into question, what else are you going What else are you doing in your life to make sure your life is a well-rounded emotional experience? So if you think about our example, that job pain you feel is just one slice of the pie of all the things you experience in your day-to-day life. But if you're also rounding out your life with other activities that bring you more positive emotions, such as taking hikes, spending time with loved ones, pursuing your side passions, and finding time to do things you love like mindful coloring or yoga, you can see how that doesn't allow all that one slice to overshadow everything else in your life. Finally, you're going to do pros and cons in those times that you are resisting practicing acceptance. This last step is really for those days that you're just like, I want to be in my feelings and I don't want to accept this. One thing you can do is make a pros and cons list of accepting reality, and that will likely bring you back to this idea that radical acceptance serves you best. I know that learning to accept difficult situations can be hard, but they can also be the key to your joy and in turn manifesting your dreams. Listen to what my client, who I'll call Mary for her privacy, had to say after I helped her do just this. When I found Dream Life Academy, I knew I needed help. I wasn't truly happy for 2 years. Tiffany helped me overcome this, and I learned what joy felt like again. In order to manifest, we need to fix ourselves first. Then we can manifest. You'll do a lot of soul searching, and at times it can be frustrating to get to the source of our resistance, but it will be rewarding once you get there. Just enjoy, learn, ask questions, and be honest with yourself. That's from Mary. So if you'd like to learn more information about working with me directly on some of these things in my program, Dream Life Academy, you can click the link in the description below to book a free consultation call with me, or you can just write any comments or questions that you have in the comments below. Just remember that acceptance is a practice, not a destination. It's not something we do and then we're done and we never really have to deal with it again. These steps of radical acceptance are a practice that you can use and come back to when you need to, when you notice that you have resistance coming up to the reality that you're in. And I want to share a random fact about me so we can get to know each other. This week's random fact about me is I'm a planner addict. Up until recently, I was actually using about 3 different planners just to get everything I wanted out of a planner, which actually led me to form my new business, modAmbition. And if you want to get on the wait list for my new planner, you can click the link in the description below and share below with me if you love using a paper planner too. We can bond over that. I know a lot of you out there do. If you like this video, please let me know by liking it below, subscribe, and share it with your fellow manifestors. Comment below manifesting if this video helped you. Cheers to manifesting your dreams and maintaining happiness along the way. And until next video, namaste.